Cosmopolitan. This is a Swedish fish Cosmopolitan. It has their Swedish fish vodka, vanilla vodka, because that's one of my favorites. I am still, people probably look at me and go, what are you from like the 2000s, like early 2000s? I like a sour apple martini made with vanilla vodka. Like that is my drink. I just love that. So I always like vanilla vodka in everything. So this has Swedish fish vodka, vanilla vodka. It has cranberry juice, a little squirt, a little more than a little squirt, maybe a double squirt of lime juice, cranberry juice, and I, of course, added a little more vanilla because I'm a big vanilla fan, vanilla seltzer. And of course, I did not get to the store, but what I would normally like in it is some actual Swedish fish candy. But it is a pretty tasty beverage if you would like to make it for your Galentine celebration. So I am going to start the evening here. If you have any questions for our romance author, she'll be happy to answer them. I know I've been out before with some of my events. Sandy Graham was gracious enough to have us at the Vintage Kitchen. And a lot of people love to ask questions like, where do you get your ideas, Tina? Different things like that. If you're interested in writing a book and you want to know something, put it in the comments section here and ask Tina, or be sure to message later. Tina Gallagher is on Facebook, of course. Check it out. And TinaGallagherBooks.com. You can check out her books. And tonight we will announce the winner of the prizes that we're giving away. A copy of Tina's latest book, Thick Girls Poll. We're giving away a couple of these cute little mugs and an Uncorked with Funny Wine Girl tote bag. If you're unfamiliar with Uncorked with Funny Wine Girl, it is my podcast. I do it weekly. Tina has, of course, been on twice. Every week, every Thursday morning, I have a new episode that gets released, and they're all out there. You can go back and check them out on Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, and more. I love to feature fabulous, fierce women like Tina and so many other women who are out there living their passion, following their dreams, and just have great stories to tell to inspire, inform, and entertain. So without further ado, speaking of entertaining, I introduce now Tina Gallagher, who's going to read from her book, Thick Girls Poll. That was actually inspired by some gals here in Scranton, and she can tell you about that.
All right.
Yes.
Because I'm lazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see. I can see. Yeah, my soda. Yes, I have my martini. Nothing I love better than a drink that matches my book cover because it makes it all come together. And Janine's lovely sign that's behind.
Oh my God, I'm doing my sign. Okay.
Yeah, it is very nice. So Thick Girls Pole, this is the first book in my Peaches and Pole series. It's about a pole dance studio named Peaches and Pole, and it is inspired by, loosely inspired by some of the people that I took pole dance lessons. I hope to get back to it. But it's a great community, and I just wanted to write some books about how, with some heroines who, kind of like started to like really appreciate their bodies for their strength and what they can do as opposed to what they look like. So that's where this whole series came from. This book is about, it's a friends to lovers romance. It's about Kira and Simon, and they used to work together. And they were really good friends, and he always had a crush on her. She was always in one bad relationship after another. She really didn't see him that way. And then she got laid off from that job and now moved into a full-time position, as a partner of the pole studio. So Simon figured it was time to take his shot with her, because he wouldn't have to have that awkward seeing her at work every day if he asked her out and she said no, or if they went out and it didn't work out. So this book is in first-person point of view for both of the characters. We start off with Sophie. I'm sorry. It's a book I'm working on right now. We start off with Kira and in her point of view, and I will let you know when it switches over to Simon. Could you actually turn that up a little bit? I'm sorry. Am I too bright? Only because I can't see because I'm.
Oh, because I didn't know that was in your eyes.
No, I'm of a certain age and I can't, and I forgot my glasses. Okay, that's perfect. Yeah. Okay, so it starts off in Kira's point of view. There is some cursing in this as well, so, be prepared. How did you survive so long without sex? Anjanette looked up and blinked, then raised her right brow. When I asked if there was anything else we need to discuss, my sex life isn't what I had in mind. I definitely don't want to talk about what your sex life is like now. That would only make my celibacy seem worse, even if it is voluntary. I want to talk about your dry years prior to Leo. I smirked I'm sorry, I'm having trouble seeing. Oh yeah, sorry.
Or if they're too strong.
Oh, these are perfect. Thank you. That's much better. Yeah, I know. Women have surveyed. I smirked and bobbed my eyebrows. Pun totally intended. I guess we're done with business. She closed her laptop and rested her elbows on the table. But thankfully, everything looks great, and it seems like the open house is all set. You don't need me here at all. You know that's not true. You're the heart and soul of this place. Everyone misses you when you're gone. After dedicating herself to Peaches and Pole for the better part of 3 years, Ann Jeanette met and fell in love with Leo Maracus, all-star catcher for the Carolina Waves. When I got downsized by corporate America, she brought me on as a partner, which was definitely a win-win. It gave me enough of a bump in income so I didn't need to find another job, and also allowed her the flexibility to travel with Leo throughout the baseball season. And don't think you're going to distract me from my question. She took a deep breath and let it out on a dramatic sigh. All right, what do you want to know? Just what I asked. How did you survive without sex for so long? I remember giving my toys a workout for 6 months or so, but after that, I just didn't crave it anymore. Plus, I was putting all my energy into this place, so that helped shift my focus, she said. How long has it been? 5 months, 1 week, and 3 days. That's very specific. I could probably tell you the hours and minutes, too, if I really thought about it, I said. And I've been giving my toys a workout, but they're just not doing it for me anymore. It's much more enjoyable when someone else does the work. Know what I mean? Yeah. Ann Jeanette's mouth curled into a sappy, smitten, and super satisfied smile. I know exactly what you mean. Okay. The chair scraped against the floor as I pushed back from the table and stood. What's wrong? You know that I'm really happy for you, but I'm also freaking jealous right now. I'm ready to jump out of my skin. I'm so horny, and you and Leo are fucking like bunnies. Her eyes widened, and she stared at me for a few heartbeats before flashing that satisfied smile again and dramatically nodding her head. Yeah, we are. I burst out laughing, then leaned down and pulled her into a hug. I truly am happy for you. Shifting back, I squeezed her shoulders, then let her go and straightened. I'm just cranky. I stuck my bottom lip out and used my best whiny voice to add, I really like sex. Aunt Jeanette stood and leaned her hip against the desk. The only thing I can suggest is what really helped me. Focus on why you gave it up in the first place. She raised her voice on the last 2 words of that sentence, turning it into a question. I never really told her why I decided to take a break from men. Initially, I didn't have a concrete answer. It was just something I felt I needed to do. It's just a little more clear now, but knowing doesn't make it any easier. You're partly to blame for my celibate state. Me? She placed her hand on her chest. What did I do? You started a healthy relationship with your hottie ball player that made me want more than random hookups with dick band-aids. Plus, those hookups got old. I realized I was just going through the motions, and it became more like a bad habit than something I enjoyed. Aunt Jeanette's image blurred, and I blinked several times to push back the tears. You okay? Yeah, I dabbed at my eyes. You know I've never been a crier, but lack of sex must have my hormones all scrambled because the past couple months, the waterworks are never too far off. Sappy movies and sweet commercials have me tearing up, and I even got emotional last week after my class perfectly executed a new routine. Have you talked to Dr. Green about it? When I decided that I finally wanted to deal with some emotional baggage, Aunt Jeanette recommended her therapist, Dr. Green, Dr. Rachel Green. It's a struggle for me not to make a friend's reference every time I'm with her. Yeah, she said that crying is an excellent way of releasing emotions and processing difficult situations. I used air quotes to highlight my therapist's words. I still don't like it and can't help but wonder if it's worth it. Like, seriously, why am I doing this anyway? Change is hard, but it'll be worth it. Honestly, I don't think things would have worked out with Leo if I hadn't focused on myself before we met. I wouldn't have been capable of having a healthy relationship. She squeezed my hand. You went through a lot with Brian, but when you guys broke up, you never really took time to deal with it, which is exactly what I did for years. I moved from guy to guy, making the same stupid mistakes. The thing is, eventually, all that stuff you ignore builds up and tarnishes everything. My issues didn't start with Brian, but he definitely highlighted all my insecurities. I've always been a bigger girl, and I'd be lying if I said that didn't bother me. Pole dance helped me appreciate my body for its strength and even made me feel sexy, but in the back of my mind, I always wished I was smaller. When we first got together, Brian said he loved my curves, but once he lost some weight and got obsessed with fitness, the insults started. He complained about what I ate and wore, especially if we were with his CrossFit friends. I snort laughed. The sad part is, if I hadn't found out he was cheating, I'd probably still be with him. Yeah, same with Travis and me, she said. And when Dr. Green pointed out my bad pattern and suggested I take a break from men, I hated the idea. Thankfully, I'm stubborn and decided to do it just to prove her wrong because she was totally right. I'll admit I thought you were crazy. I couldn't even imagine going cold turkey like that. So what changed? Brian isn't the first guy I've dated who ended up commenting on my weight. I blinked away tears as I looked around the studio before meeting her gaze again, then shrugged. One night stands and random guys kept me safe from that. Plus, the sex was good, in the beginning anyway. I just went through the motions with the last few, but that's not how I want to live my life going forward. I want to spend it with someone who loves me for me and doesn't care about the size of my body. She pushed away from the table and pulled me into a hug. I'm so happy you decided to make a change. Releasing me, she added, you're beautiful inside and out, and someday you'll meet a man who recognizes that and will treat you like the goddess you are. So, say that louder for the universe to hear. I can't see if there's any comments coming. Now we move to Simon's point of view. My phone buzzed and I cringed when I saw my sister's face pop up on the screen. I thought about ignoring the call, but that would only delay the inevitable. How's my favorite sister today? I'm your only sister and I'm pissed, she said, then added, at you, as if there was any question. No use pretending I don't know what she's talking about. Shannon, I took Andy out to dinner, then dropped her off at the hotel. I don't know what else you expected to happen. I expected you to give the date a chance. She said you barely spoke, and when you did, you gave her 1 or 2 word answers. I did give it a chance, I said. By sitting there silent and just nodding like an idiot. I closed my laptop and shifted forward to set it on the coffee table. Resting my elbows on my knees, I told her my side of the story. I got a few words in at the beginning, but once I asked about her job, she barely stopped talking to breathe. So instead of interrupting, I just listened and nodded. It couldn't have been that bad. Do you want me to tell you about the designers she's worked with, items of clothing she's worn, and which makeup she prefers? That question was met with silence, as I'm guessing Shannon has experienced similar conversations with Andy. But since she's being quiet, I figured I'd drive my point home. I could also tell you which photographers are her favorite, although by that point I was only half listening, so I won't be as detailed. I heard a long sigh and sat back waiting for my sister to speak. Do you like her at all? I didn't dislike her, but she's not someone I'd want to date. Just because of the talking? Honestly, we don't have anything in common. Okay, no, Andy, she said, but I do have someone else in mind that I think you'll connect with better. My sister is a makeup artist for some of the most prestigious photographers in Manhattan, so she has a never-ending supply of beautiful women at her disposal. I appreciate the thought, but I'm good. Besides, people will start avoiding you if they think you're going to hit them up to go on a date with your nerdy brother. My friends think you're adorable and would jump at the chance to date you. I seriously doubt that. Why not? Nerds are in, you know, she added with a chuckle. Penny and Leonard ended up together on The Big Bang Theory, but chances are they'd crash and burn in the real world. There are exceptions, of course, like my parents, but my experience has taught me that my sister's friends and I just aren't a good fit. We're too different. Your friends are like you. None of them would be content doing the low-key things I enjoy, and I definitely don't fit in their world. Relationships are about compromise. Look at mom and dad. They're as opposite as can be and still make it work. Mom and dad are the exception, I said, and besides, having nothing in common with your friends. Besides having nothing in common with your friends, I live in Scranton, and they're either in Manhattan or travel all the time. Andy's photo shoot in the Poconos is the only reason we managed to go out. I have friends closer to Scranton. I took my glasses off and rubbed my eyes. Shannon, please find another project. You and Zoe broke up 2 years ago, and aside from the women I've set you up with, you haven't had a date, and I'm okay with that. Simon, you're a great guy with a lot to offer. I know you'd like to be in a relationship. You just need to meet the right girl. That's not going to happen if you're hiding at mom and dad's playing video games with Andrew and Archer. My sister and I may be twins, but we're total opposites in looks, interest, and lifestyle. Where she's like our outgoing, popular father, I take after our more reserved mother. Shannon has made it her life's mission to get me out from behind my computer and make sure I don't end up living in our parents' basement. You know I only moved back home because mom and dad took off on their tour of the country. Once they come back, I'll get my own place. After Zoe and I broke up, I moved into a studio apartment because it was fully furnished and available, but ended up living there longer than I should have. My lease was up, so when mom and dad bought an RV and planned their epic journey, I decided to move back home. Staying here would give me time to find something new and would also make keeping an eye on their house easier. It seems like a win-win to me. Shannon thinks I'm going to stagnate here. We'll see. I swear I heard her eyes roll through the phone line. Shan, I went away to college, then moved in with Zoe a couple years after I graduated. You make it seem like I've been a hermit. Not a hermit exactly. I mean, you go to work and hang out with your friends once in a while, she said, but let's be honest. You spend more time with your dolls than you do with people. They're not dolls, they're collectibles, and I don't play with them. They're on display. Okay, Andy, she said, referring to Steve Carell's character in The 40-Year-Old Virgin. On that note, I'm going to say goodbye. Her answering laugh should have aggravated me, for some reason it made me smile. Talk to you later, big brother. I disconnected the call and picked up my computer, but the game I'd been playing before Shannon called wasn't keeping my attention anymore. Something my sister said kept running through my head. I would like to be in a relationship, and if I'm being honest with myself, I know who I want to be in one with. Opening a new browser, I signed onto Facebook and typed in her name, Kira Jordan. We worked together for almost a decade before her position was downsized last year. I had a crush on her from day one, but she was dating, then engaged. Plus, I was with Zoe part of that time. Even if those things weren't true, I'm not sure I would have asked her out. Besides the fact we worked together, we were friends. If things didn't work out or she wasn't interested, that friendship would have been messed up and I'd have to face her every day. But now that wouldn't be the case. My ego would be bruised if she turned me down, but I'd live. I scrolled through her feed, which was mostly pictures of classes at the pole dance studio she's working at now. Then something caught my eye. They're having an open house at the studio next weekend. Before I could second guess myself, I grabbed my phone and dialed Shannon. Do you have plans next weekend? I asked as soon as she answered. Nothing that can't be blown off or changed. Why? There's an open house at Kira's pole studio Saturday, and I was hoping I'll be home Friday night. Sometimes it's not so bad having a pain in the ass sister. That is the first chapter of Thick Girls Pool. Yeah.
Bright lights
No.
there. Oh, Wendy Ann is watching.
Mhm.
Okay. Do we have any questions for Tina? Please feel free to pop them in the comments. I know I had put that on my Facebook earlier, but if you do have any questions, and please make sure, if you're not already, follow Tina Gallagher on Facebook. She has a Tina Gallagher, you have a separate books page, and of course Tina Gallagher.
And then Tina Gallagher myself, yeah.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Well, that is, did you say it's first chapter?
That's the first chapter.
First chapter.
That's the whole first chapter, yep.
Okay, and we should show. So this is what we're doing. We're pulling the winners
Yeah.
tonight. This is a copy of Tina's latest book, Thick Girls Pull, that some lucky winner will be getting. And some mugs will go to another winner. And my Uncorked with Funny Wine Girl tote will be going to somebody.
Yeah. Am I in your way? Am I in your way? Yeah. Yep. Thank you so much for that. Oh my God. Well, I'm usually okay with this little tiny print. I need the large print books now. I'm like one of those people.
Scooch this here
I need
for
the
a
library
second.
books.
Get nice and close here.
Yeah.
I hope everyone's having a fun evening. I hope you're having a cocktail. Please,
Yeah.
if you're having a cocktail, please put it in the comments what you're drinking or a picture of something. That would be nice. I mentioned my Swedish fish martini.
It is very yummy.
You like Tina likes
It's
it, right?
very yummy, yes. Because it's not too sweet. It's sweet, but it's not too sweet. That lemon.
Yeah, the little bit of lime
within
it, yeah. And it's not that, I don't know if you've ever had these, because I do like martinis, but sometimes they almost taste like cough syrup.
Mhm.
You know, I don't know what it is that they taste cough syrupy,
The sweet
whatever.
ones, yeah.
But this is the Swedish fish vodka, vanilla vodka, cranberry juice, some lime, and a little bit of, and I forgot the Cointreau before. So if you heard me before, I totally forgot that there is Cointreau in this too, because it's basically like a Cosmo with a twist. Vanilla vodka and Swedish fish instead. So
we'll call it Janine.
we'll call it Janine.
Instead of Swedish fish, we'll call it Janine. I love vanilla.
So this isn't too awkward. I'm not really going to do my stand-up. I'm just going to do a couple funnies for you that I created. Some rejected candy heart sayings, and a couple other things I'm going to do. Listening to Tina's book, though, if you do pick up a copy or if you're familiar with Tina's books, she gets a little sassy in some of those, and I get the joy. I've been able to edit and proofread these, and sometimes I have to take a break, if you know what I mean. Like, and it's funny, I talked about this in my stand-up recently. I donated blood a couple weeks ago, and anyone who's ever donated blood, you know you have to answer like all of these questions. And there's a lot of questions about sex, right? You know, have you traded sex for money? Have you traded sex for drugs? Have you traded sex for a Guatemalan baby? I mean, they don't have that one, but they do have a lot of them. And it's I don't mind those questions. There are several of them because it makes it really quick and easy for me. I pretty much, in the last 3 months, have you had sex? And I'm like, whoa, you don't know what kind of sex? The answer is no. If the question on there was, when is the last time you had sex? My answer would be something like 7 years ago. And I don't know what the hell the score is, but I know it's been a minute, right? It's been a little while. So, but what I was going to say too is about reading Tina's books and editing and proofreading. I don't know how much my Catholic school nuns would like what I'm reading, because I think they would be like blushing right now, right? Like some of the scenes, they'd be like, oh my God, we taught you to avoid sex at all costs, you know, completely. I went to Catholic school, kindergarten through 12th grade. And I always talk about this because I was always envious of my friends in public school who are learning actual sex education, which would have come in handy. And then I could be doing all the fun stuff that the characters are doing in Tina's books. But instead, I had this nun Sister Harold, who's like 6'2", this old musty nun, and she was like mustier than the school, Holy Rosary. And she taught us in hygiene class, and she'd say, now, girls, it is so important to be pure of mind, body, and spirit. So if you ever get into the shower and the water should happen to rise up from the bowels of hell and feel good, get out of the water. And she didn't say it like, oh, it's a suggestion. She would say it like she was Chief Brody on Amity Beach, and she was like ringing the hell out of that bell. And let me tell you, some of the girls riding up the skirts, I think Sister needed a bigger bell for some of those. You know what I mean? So I am going to just read a couple funnies for you. Again, this was just meant to be a fun sampling. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you are joining this late, because this will be recorded and stay on the page, you can always come back and watch it again if you wanted to listen to Tina's story again. And you're going to want to know how it finishes, how it ends out. Of course, there's a happy ending. Wink, wink. So you're going to want to pick up a copy of the book if you didn't win, if you're not the winner. All right, so these are some of my, oh my God, I don't clean my glasses enough. Wyoming Valley Ghost Tours is watching. Hey guys, I know that you guys did a lot of fun events at LBC Distillery. That's where I would have been tomorrow night. Unfortunately, we're so sad to see Marianne and Jonathan close up shop there, but doing a little mini thing here, you know, from home. So Tina just read from her book. If you missed it, of course, check out the recording. I'm just doing a little bit of humorous stuff tonight. I'm going to read now some of my rejected candy heart sayings. You know, you get those hug me, love me kind of things. Here's a couple that I came up with. Let's see. I'm the reason you're experiencing burning and itching. I guess that one was not taken very well. The test came back positive. My mom promises to stop stealing the blankets. I gave your rose to someone else. My dog ate your gift. My last girlfriend arrived in bubble wrap. If we get intimate, my heart will explode. No, seriously, they just put in the pacemaker last week. That would have to be a really big heart, but I think that was rejected. That's probably why it was rejected. I love seeing your face through the plexiglass. I know how much you love Alicia Keys. After our night together, now you're the girl on fire. And then I just have my little silly poems here. Roses are red, violets are blue. I tested positive. It's your turn. How about you? You see a lot of testing going on there. Must be my time spent at the medical college. Roses are red, violets are blue. When I get sprung, I'm coming for you. Roses are red, violets are blue. I started the company in your name. The steps are coming for you. Again, another thing. It's my perimenopausal hormone anger. I want to come for somebody, I think. Roses are red, violets are blue. I took the blue pill. Now let's get to my thrill. All right. Hey, I figured something in terms of romance tonight. But yes, I mentioned my parent. Now, of course, Tina, we're joking about these glasses. Women of a certain age. I must have like 10 pairs of these, and slowly they're going up incrementally. I had 1 point strength, then it was 1.25. Now I'm up to 1.75, I think. But women of a certain age, you might hear me often talk about perimenopausal hormones. I do. I talk a lot about it on my podcast. I talk about it in my stand-up because it's real. When I turned 50, I was all about turning 50. I was like, where's my AARP card? I want those discounts, bitches. All about it. But now, 52, there are days that it's like a little bit tougher than others. You know, like I think back to 4 years ago when I was like a young 48 years old. I had finished my second marathon and I was like, woohoo! This morning, I could barely get out of my sports bra. I'm telling you, that damn thing belongs in the Houdini Museum. I have no idea. I almost had to get the jaws of life to wiggle out of that thing. And there are mornings like I go in the bathroom, I look in the mirror, and I no longer see myself. I see the face of Tom Hanks staring back at me. And I hear those angry perimenopausal voices screaming, we're the captain now, bitch. And they really are. It's really rough. And so, you know, in the theme of romance, I'll just end with this thought for you guys. And this is going to be one of the little gifts that someone will get when they win tonight. My cool coasters, I'm so excited about. I had to print one of my favorite philosophies on here. My philosophy on men and dogs is similar. Unless invited, keep your nose out of my crotch. So I love that one so much. I had to put my doodle on a coaster, and I'm excited about my funny wine ghoul doodle. Can you tell that this is really working? This is a great martini. Thank you, LBC Distillery, for the Swedish fish vodka that I bought a couple months back. It's really served me well. It's delicious, honestly. All right. Well, I want to thank you guys so much for joining us. If there's any comments for Tina, if you have any questions at all, put them in the comments. Otherwise, again, be sure, here, let's turn this. Be sure to check out Tina on Facebook and tinagallagherbooks.com. But now I'm going to announce the big winners for tonight. So, right?
Yeah.
So you know who won
who won what, yeah.
All right. So, Tina's book is going to Thick Girls Poll. We have a copy here. It is going to Linda May. Linda May, M-A-Y. The month that follows April, which is National Humor Month, so that's a good month. Linda, if you message me at Funny Wine Girl Janine here, we just need your address, and Tina's signing the book, so we'll get that to you. Let's see. The winner of my tote bag, which is an Uncorked with Funny Wine Girl tote bag. You can put lots of books in it and wine. That's what I would put in it. The winner of that is Debbie Walker. She's won that. Okay, and our last prize is these lovely, I was going to say vanilla. Oh my God, can you tell that I want to get vanilla martini? Valentine's, not vanilla, although it is white, so that's kind of like vanilla. We'll call that. 2 mugs with some candy in it, and I'll give you some, of course, Funny Wine Girl swag. And the winner of that is Wendy Ann. And Wendy Ann, I think you might even be local here in Northeastern PA, I believe. So your gift, or your prize, I should say, we'll have to talk, and maybe I can meet up and give it to you so I won't ship 2 mugs. But the other gifts, unless you're local, I'll be happy to meet up with you. But if you're not local, Linda May and Debbie Walker, we just need your address, and I'll ship those out to you. I'll ship your gifts out, your book, and the tote bag. So congratulations to Wendy, Linda, and Debbie. Thank you for joining in the fun.
Thank you.
Or do you want to talk about what you got coming up?
Anybody near Columbia, New Jersey, I have a book signing on Sunday, February 11th, which is Super Bowl Sunday. It's from 1 to 4, I believe, at the Brook Hollow Winery. I will be there with about 9 other authors. I think there's 10 of us total. We'll be signing books, and there's some kind of an event going on there at the winery and then you can always sample some good wine. So
no, go ahead.
No, and that's where I'll be on Sunday.